Today's episode is brought to you by Security Financial Management.
Ooh, welcome back to Best Advice Podcast, guys. I'm your host, Rob Lovaglio, here as always with Austen Jacks and Frank Lovaglio. Gentlemen, what's cracking like it?
I like it.
That was a long drag.
I had a good drag at the end.
Oh yeah! Singer this morning, man. I got some good vocals.
Feel it, right?
Had a good couple seconds.
Let's get this thing started with some positive energy. We call this Give Me Something Good. And Dad, it's your birthday, buddy.
Hey, give me something good.
Happy birthday, man.
Happy birthday, Frankie the bird.
That's just coincidence,
bird.
but yeah, 62 today, right?
Happy birthday to you.
62,
I could take
man.
early Social Security. I'm not going to do it, but it's on the table for me.
I read a quote the other day, which kind of had me step back. It said, being a good dad is making your son proud to have your DNA, right? And I kind of took a step back from that. And I don't know how you did it, right? Because you go home, you have three very aggressive, opinionated ladies who like to bust on you quite a bit. You have a top-notch wife who holds you to a very high standard.
Yes.
Who is not afraid to call you out on to say the least. Then you go to the office. If the market's down 2%, you're getting kicked by your clients, right? And this is every day. But somehow you always kept a smile on your face through all these years. And you have always taken life challenges head on, right?
Yeah.
And everyone has problems, right? Including myself.
Everybody.
We've all been in situations,
Sure.
right? But every time I've wanted to give up or I've felt like this is it, what really got me through it is looking at myself and be like, what is my DNA of my parents?
Yeah.
I'm not built as a quitter.
Yeah.
I am not a quitter. My dad's not a quitter. My mom's not a quitter. My DNA is to win, and I think that's been my biggest competitive advantage throughout my life is like me knowing my DNA. So live up to your name. That's my give me something good, man.
Yeah, hey, that's great. That's emotional. Thank you. That's a very nice thing to say. Where do you go from there, Austin? Besides cry and give me a hug.
I'll do that later. Save the tears for now.
All right, let's get to the question of the day. Today's question comes from Alex from Texas. Alex, what you got for us?
You want to say something?
Hey guys, Alex writes in, I have a 529 college savings account for my son, but he's decided not to go to college. I'm concerned about penalties if we take the money out for non-education expenses. Any suggestions on how to use the funds without facing big penalties?
Thank you, Alex. Dad, it's your birthday. Take it over.
Yeah, I'll go first, and Austin, I can dive in. So just a couple things, in prep for this meeting, I want to talk a little bit about the end of the year's coming, right? We got last quarter. Can you believe October's here? So we got the last quarter of the year coming up. A couple tax strategy ideas for preparation for the year coming up. And there's one that's kind of interesting. Back about a month ago, they started really putting some press on this. It's been active for a while, but you can take a 529. So say you're accumulating money in a 529.
Just college, right?
Yeah, for college fund, tax-deferred college fund. And for the longest time, you kind of were stuck there. But now you can take a 529, some of the excess, and you can put it in a Roth IRA. There's always, the government taketh and then the government, giveth and the government taketh away. And I mean that in that they have this great loophole, but you got to play by the rules to do it. So let's say you're funding your kid's 529 and it's getting kind of frothy. And then one of your kids is like, you know what, Dad, Mom, I think college is horrible. I think I want to be a tradesman, which, more and more, a plumber, electrician that
Supply
starts
and
their
demand,
own business.
man. Plumbers are
There's
demand is crazy right now.
So much demand. I've always thought, go to one of those schools and get really talented in plumbing, electrical in Florida. There's so much growth. Anyway, so that becomes your son or your daughter and says, I don't want to do this. And you got this money sitting in this account. Well, what you can do now is you can take that part of that up to $35,000, so they don't let you take it all, and you have had to have started it, and you have been in it 15 years, so you got to have longevity, and then you can take $35,000 off the top, but you can put that in a Roth IRA, and as you know, what are some of the advantages of a Roth IRA?
Well, it's essentially, a 529 is you put after-tax dollars in, get tax-free growth on your investment if you use it for college. So really, it's taking those dollars, moving it over to a Roth IRA, which is tax-free growth for retirement savings. So I think the rule, too, is, if your kid has earned income, they can contribute up to the max that given year. So it's, this year it would be $7,000 a year until that total reaches $35,000.
So is it a way to get that college fund out and into another vehicle that's tax deferred?
Well, that's a really good point. It allows you to do both. So say the antithesis of the example I gave where the kid doesn't want to go to school. The other side of that is I want to go to Notre Dame, I want to go to Notre Dame, and that's, let's call it $65,000, $70,000 a year. You wouldn't want to do that because you would probably need all the money that you can in the regular 529. But to your point, if you don't need all that money, it makes you change the strategy from tax planning or college planning with a tax-free advantage to now retirement planning for the same beneficiary. So you've got the double-edged sword there. It's really
and also
nice.
It's a way too, because if you didn't use those funds for college, you'd be penalized if you took them out otherwise. So it's a way to take those funds and just really shift them to another bucket without being dinged for a 10% penalty.
It's hard to say if Fats is best known for his skill or his style.
And then back, and we've mentioned this on a few shows, but I've had a lot of clients coming in asking about this that have been listening to the podcast. So let's go over the gifting rules again, because every annual gift is annually. Again, with the last quarter coming on, it's $18,000 a year per person. So if you're married, that's $36,000 a year that you can give to as many people as you want. And what they do in the 529, because we're talking about that concept this morning, they allow you 5 times lump sum into the 529. So back to the Notre Dame example, $70,000 a year, it's going to be close. It's probably more with room and board and all the travel. But that child that's going to go to a higher institution that's highly touted like that's spending the bigger money, mom and dad can take, if you 18,000 times 5, 90,000, right, Austin? Got my math right?
Yep.
2 parents, 180,000 you could put, if you have the wealth to do it, in a 529 plan. What a great jump start.
Tax-free?
You put it in, it grows tax-free, and you withdraw tax-free. And if you don't use it, what do you do? $35,000 can go where? It can go into the
Roth IRA.
Hey.
Kind of good stuff, right?
Great stuff.
All right. Hope that helps, Alex. Remember, folks, the secret to wealth is not what you earn, it's what you keep. Happy days, everybody.
This podcast is for entertainment and educational purposes only and is not intended as personal financial advice. Before making any financial decision, please do your own research and consult a financial advisor as needed. If you have a question for the guys, email podcast@bestadvicepodcastguys.com.